What's up, everybody? We are here for our final piece with Liverpool High School football, and here with Warriors. You know, we're here every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora at Avicolli's. It's our exclusive home for all of our Liverpool Warriors content, and we get to put a spotlight on the athletic programs in the community every single month right here at Avicolli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road, walking distance from Liverpool High School. And very happy to have had the seniors that we've had on here. Now we have the new head coach of the team, long-time head coach, but Liverpool, the L for the first time here, and hopefully a lot of W's coming despite the L that we see right here. So excited for everything to come up here with Coach Sindoni. Coach, how are you?
Good. Thank you very much for having me. Thanks for doing this. This has been great.
No, and it's been my honor to do something like this, and we love to have it. It's the first time we've had the football team out here at Avicolli, so get to make history tonight with that. You have your family here, part of your family here,
yeah.
And you're talking about the fact that you have a couple of your kids here right now. You're going to be bringing your daughter to Dayton tomorrow.
Yep.
So how are you dealing with having to drop off one of your children at college?
I'm okay. My wife is another story.
Okay.
I'm happy for her. To me, it's a positive thing.
Yeah.
My wife has been been upset for weeks, and we have a 9-hour drive home from Dayton, and it's going to be unpleasant, I think, but it's part of life.
I was going to say, how do you think your wife's going to deal with that? She's going to try and nap? You're going to play some sad songs? What are we doing?
We're definitely not going to play sad songs.
Okay.
That's for sure. I'm hoping she'll drive so that I can get some football work done in the car on the ride. Try and do something with a 9-hour drive. But it's one of those things, and we've had it marked on our calendar, and it's been a day that I've been looking forward to just because I'm happy for my daughter. But
Yeah.
I think she has a different. She's happy for her also, but sad in another regard. So.
Yeah, and I think it is tough, and it's going to be tough, and it's going to be different, but you have more kids at home, obviously.
I do.
So there's definitely more parenting to be done and whatnot, and then parenting from far away. How would you just, for people that don't know, I would love for you to give us their name too when you do it. Describe your children individually. I'd love to know personalities.
So my oldest is Isabella. She's the one that's going to Dayton.
Yeah.
Very self-sufficient. Very, very. I don't want to say easy, but it's the kind of kid that gets herself up in the morning for school. You never have to say anything to her. Did a good job in school. Was a captain of the basketball team. Really just kind of very driven and kind of knows what she wants.
Okay.
I have twins who are here tonight, John and Juliana, and they're just a huge pain in the ass, two of them. And they're great. They're great kids, but they're very different, and they challenge a little more as opposed to Isabella, who kind of goes with things. And then my baby Natalie is 10 years old, and she's just kind of figured out ways to get through the cracks, and she's watched the mistakes that all the other kids made, and she's got the system figured out already going into 5th grade.
So you got self-sufficient Isabella. You have your youngest who has figured out how to find her way through everything.
Yep.
And then your twins they've tested you?
Oh, it's what they do.
Okay.
And they get enjoyment from it.
They're right
Yes.
on camera right now.
Yeah,
So.
they get enjoyment.
Would you guys
from
not?
it.
Do you test him? Would you not? Yeah. John says yes. Yeah. Okay. Juliana says
It's just that, and you know what? That personality trait will serve them well later on if they live that long.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. So, how would you describe? So, I don't have kids yet. How would you describe parenting to me?
It was tricky for us because we had our first, and she was just an easy kid, and then we went from 1 to 3,
Yeah.
and it wasn't just 3; it was those two, and they would eat at different times, they would sleep at different times, and it went from being very, very easy to being incredibly challenging almost overnight. I don't know why my wife wanted to have another after that. I'm glad we did, but certainly it's those days I remember when they were all young it was challenging. We enjoyed it. I kind of miss it, but it was, I don't know how we got through it some of the time with just how much we had going on.
You said that your two middle children challenge you. what is the most positive thing that you've learned from John and Juliana?
That I've learned from them?
Yep.
You know, I think the thing that I've learned from them is how perceptive they are in terms of, and they're different in this regard, but how they pay attention to what other people are doing and how much they actually pick up.
Okay.
And then it comes back to me in another conversation, like, I can't believe you even caught on to that. But certainly that's one of the things that sometimes I think Isabella, my oldest, might have been that way, but would never say anything to me about it. These guys can't wait to have a conversation with me when they've picked something up that maybe they shouldn't have.
Fair enough. Okay. So you come over from Skinny Atlas.
Yep.
It was an interesting end to that era and
Yep.
then a beginning to this. What did you learn from the road to Liverpool?
You know, a lot. I mean, you know, I've been coaching since 1997. I started doing modified at CBA. You know, Tim Green hired me to be a varsity coach in Skinny Atlas in 2010. And I think about just from 2010 to now, how much differently we coach, how much more I think we've adapted what we do, even in the last 12 years, and that's exponentially more than it was when I was a JV coach and a modified coach. I think you try to learn from every experience that you have. You know, I had a short stint as a head coach at CNS, in between stints at Skinny Atlas, and that provided me, you know, a lot of things that I think are very applicable to where we are now too.
And when you go through all this, when you have CBA, you have Skinny Atlas, you have CNS, how have you seen yourself evolve at this point?
I'll give you the best way I can sum it up. Right now, I think I've got 7 or 8 coaches who are former players.
Yeah.
Okay, and they come from different, you know, the first guys were on my first team. And every time a new kid comes to coach with me, they say, what the hell happened to you? You've gotten soft. And I've had 5 different groups of coaches tell me how much softer I got than when they played. And I don't think soft is the right word, but I think that there's a lot of things that you look at when you're dealing with kids where I can scream at these kids, and I do sometimes, but I can get just as far making a joke, they're going to get the point. I don't need to yell at them not to fumble. They know they shouldn't fumble. I need to tell them why they fumble. And that's, you know, the mentality I think that we take on our coaching staff is if the kids go out there and they don't know it, it's not their fault, it's our fault. We didn't find a way to teach it to them, and if they didn't know it, we shouldn't have had them out there doing it. So that's a different mentality than certainly where I started, and it's evolved over time.
Do you feel like today's student athlete needs to be spoken to or coached differently?
I don't know that they need to be. I mean, every kid is different, but I don't think as a coach you need to put yourself in a position to disrespect a kid.
Yeah.
You can coach them. You can coach what they did. But I think you got to be careful about pulling them out and embarrassing them. And that has changed a lot over the years as well. But I do think that there's a way where we can coach kids and hold them to standards and want to be disciplined without actually, you know, going nuts and disrespecting a kid. Most of the time when these guys are going to hear me yell, I'm yelling at the whole team. I try not to do it at one kid because that is where we are is you know, kids react differently to that now. I mean, that's the world that we live in.
So you're here at Liverpool. Ari Lieberman and I have spent a lot of time together. And when there's a coaching search and you're trying to find the right person, what did Ari tell you about why they chose you and why did you choose Liverpool? What do you think mutually has worked?
I think it was a combination of things because I really, this wasn't how I intended things to go, but that's life. And sometimes opportunities, you know, fall in your lap. And this just came about from Ari and I having a conversation. And there were certain things that were important to me as I head into the next phase of my coaching. And there were things that he was looking for, and it happened to be a match. And that's kind of just where it went.
You've had your seniors come up here and you've had the opportunity to hear from a bunch of different guys, from Vince, from Ian, from Jacob and Jaden, as well as Uriah and Shamir. What did you take away from those 6 seniors that have represented your team?
You know what? We've spent a lot of time this summer, our staff, trying to get to know these kids. I think it's just easier to coach a kid if you have an understanding where he's coming from. So we've spent a lot of time during the summer, even just doing extra stuff, even just going to the turf and throwing. And for the 6 that are here, and they did a great job, and they lied and said nice things about me for a little bit. There are 10 more seniors that I could have had come up here that I think were just as deserving. It's a very senior heavy group, and they're good kids, and they want to be good. We give them the opportunity to work, and they want to do it, and they show up for it.
Taking over a team that's senior heavy, just what that means to you as a coach.
I told these guys when you asked them what the most important game on the schedule was, I said the only one that answered it right was Shamir, and he answered it right for the wrong reason. That all we're going to worry about is the next game. Liverpool is such a big school with kids in and out and all over the place that we're not even going to worry about next year. We're going to worry about trying to be ready on Thursday night to play Henniger at our place. That's it.
And I can respect that. And some people call it coach speak, but you can't look beyond your next opponent.
It is coach speak, but I think there's a reason for it.
Right. Well, it's like when people say that's cliche, but most cliche things are true.
That's right.
So with that being said, I want to jump right into rapid fire.
Okay.
Because you and I will have a bunch of opportunities to expand as you continue to get comfortable here at Liverpool, and I'm very happy that you're here. I'll say that, Coach.
Thank you again for having me.
So it's you and I, so I'm going to give you a bonus one. 3 and 3. You can ask me the first rapid fire.
Favorite band? What kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to a little bit of everything, but my favorite band would be Journey.
Oh, all right.
And I would love, so I don't have kids and I'm single, right?
Yep.
I want to name my daughter Journey someday if I have a daughter, but I have not ever met a girl that's like, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Yeah. How
do you feel about this singer that they've picked up that's their lead singer as they go on tour?
Journey's iterations have changed over time. I've seen Arnel Pineda, and
is that his name?
Yeah, that's the one
good.
that they've got. Yeah, no, he's great. If he turns his back to you, his hair, if you see like the facial hair and you see the back of his head, he's Steve Perry. He sounds like him. He's a little bit different, but it's
not the same.
It's not the same, and I find myself sometimes wanting to hear Steve Perry, and then sometimes I want to hear Arnel Pineda, but Steve Perry also did a bunch of great stuff on his own, and I don't think there's any equal to him, although Pineda is really good. And he was in the Philippines in like a Journey cover band, and they found him.
Yep.
And here's a cool story. My cousin Joey, is it Joey? No, Jeff. Jeff Tortora, he is in the Blue Man Group as one of their drummers.
Wow.
He potentially could have been the drummer of Journey when they were looking for the drummer in 1999, but he ended up going with Blue Man Group. So he could have been Journey's drummer, which selfishly I would have loved, but he's toured the world with the Blue Man Group, which is pretty cool. He's on Jay Leno, he's in Tahiti, he's all over the place. So my first one for you, let's stay with music. Top 3 bands of all time.
Okay, so my daughter's over there. I mean, I'm a big Pearl Jam fan.
Okay.
I like Pearl Jam quite a bit.
Okay.
I like U2.
Okay.
And then there's a bunch in there. I like the Foo Fighters. Got a chance to see them last year when they came here. They were great. I like Tom Petty. I like Springsteen.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at.
A lot of good ones. The ones that you know even if you don't know that you know them. I didn't even know how many Springsteen songs I had listened to until they were like, oh yeah, that's a Bruce Springsteen song.
Yep.
What's your second one?
Second one.
Second question.
What's your ultimate goal with this? Are you doing what you want to be doing now, or if you had your druthers, would you be covering the NFL full time? So
I worked at 3 ESPN affiliates. I worked with Fox Online, and I worked at a Yahoo affiliate. I started my own company at 26 years old with 27 cents in my pocket and $103 in my bank account, living with my grandmother because she had fallen and she was in her 90s, and I agreed to take care of her. So that's how I started my company. My company is 10 years old this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So, in owning a multimedia company, there's a lot of things I want to do. I want to work in music. I would love to sing and songwrite. I've loved to screenwrite. I love to direct and act a little bit. I have gotten to act a little bit on stage, and I've gotten to act as an extra in one of the Spider-Man movies. As an Amazing Spider-Man 2 in the chase scene, which was pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
So I got to do that, and shout out to Andrew Garfield because now he's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which means now I am technically. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I want to do, and stand-up comedy's always been in my blood, and I just, as my mother would say, some people shouldn't come to the show, but everybody should hear it, I guess. So it'll be fun. If you weren't coaching, what would you be doing?
Well, I mean, coaching is not my day job.
Yeah. But if you could do anything in the world.
If I could do anything, I mean, it would probably be something related to coaching or sports, or not necessarily coaching. I mean, being in the front office for a football team or a baseball team or a basketball team. I mean, I grew up playing Stratomatic. I don't know how familiar you are with that, but I mean, it was always the strategy and the salary cap and moving players around and some of this. I like that as well. I'm kind of a numbers guy.
Okay.
Probably something like that if I couldn't actually be in, calling plays and coaching practices.
Well, if I ever become the GM of the Jaguars, I have to call you.
Give me a buzz.
Because I definitely think I could do a better job. What's your last one for me?
Second, what's your favorite sport? Can I assume that it's football because it's, and if it is football, what is your second favorite sport?
I would say football and basketball live in a world close to each other. I played basketball my whole life, but I am in love with the sport of football and with basketball. I find myself, I can watch football all day long, but I could play basketball all day long. So I love them both for the art of the game, and I just love to learn. And I mean, I've told coaches before, I will come sit and watch film, and you can take my notepad, take my recorder, take all that stuff. I'm not going to report on anything. I just want to watch it to see if I see what you see,
Yep.
and to see like how I can learn and get better.
Yep.
Because I like being a student of the game. And I've told Nate Hackett that. I was like, dude, just let me watch film with you. I'll sit in the office. My last one for you. If you could go anywhere in the world that you haven't been, this is a 3-part question. You can go somewhere in the world. Where do you go? What one person do you take that you know, and what celebrity do you take? So you can take somebody you know, one celebrity, and where do you go?
I think probably either Africa or Australia.
Okay.
Just because it's a different kind of a wildlife that you just don't see.
Yeah.
I would take my wife with me.
Okay.
And then one celebrity. Now, does it have to be? What's the criteria on the celebrity?
Bring anybody. Literally anyone.
I'd probably take Bill Belichick with me, just because I know how much you like him.
Okay. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I mean, honestly, if I'm going to sit on a beach somewhere and talk to somebody besides my wife, I would. That's the person. If I could sit and talk football with somebody, that's probably who I'd want to sit and talk football with.
I respect the heck out of him. I would love to pick his brain. I just don't know why he looks just so miserable.
Does it on purpose.
The time.
Because he can.
Right. He's just mad every day. It's sad. I think I would smile a lot more. But listen, he's a fantastic coach, so I give him the credit on that. With that being said, for the head coach of Liverpool Warriors football, Joe Sindoni, myself, Dan Tortora, for Wake Up Call here at Avicolli's. One more round of applause. Show love to your coach, because Coach showed love to you. So we'll talk with you all soon. And, of course, we're here every single month with Liverpool Warriors down the road from Liverpool High School at Avicolli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. And Wake Up Call, normal scheduled time every Monday through Friday from 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Facebook.com, YouTube.com, and MixLR.com, all /